Hi there. It's come to my attention that we have a lot more followers and people checking us out lately, and a lot of the new people might not know how we got started or how I got started in this business. So I thought I'd give you a little rundown on it. I was a carpenter back in the 70s, and I kind of was flopping around, and I met Steve Israel, moved into town from New York, and he wanted to start a business. He came here to see me, and I think it's because I had a truck and I had an empty garage, and I was a carpenter, had some, strong back type of thing, perfect for him. And so we got started up, I think probably in the spring of 1979. We did a job in Fall River, Massachusetts. This is before we even incorporated, but he got some tip down there. We went down and did McWhirr's department store in Fall River, Mass. And got a whole bunch of stuff. Some of it we never sold, but it was a start. We brought it up here and put it in my garage. And then shortly after that, Steve wanted to do a show over in Montpelier, just a showing of some of the stuff that he had. So we loaded a bunch of stuff on my old Jimmy, and we went over, did a showing that didn't amount to much. It was in the winter, nobody cared, but we did it anyway. And then he ended up getting a space on Berry Street. And I can't really tell you now I can't tell you the address of it, but it's just a little shop down around the corner, just a place to put a bunch of stuff. And he opened up there, and I was working for him part-time. And then shortly, Linda was already starting to work, doing some of the books, even though he wasn't incorporated yet or anything. But, when we did sales, she was involved from the very beginning. And, but was incorporated in the fall of 1979. That's when we first went into business as Great American Salvage Company. Now, it wasn't my company, it belonged to Steve Israel, but I was there from the get-go. And we opened up down on Berry Street and did some business. I think he actually got an investor at that point from New York, some friend of his put some money in, and he rented 3 Main Street in Montpelier, which is where Sarducci's is now. I'm sure you do remember Great American Salvage, but Sarducci's is that stone-fired pizza restaurant. Just as you come across the bridge, immediately turn into that parking lot. And that was a big place for me. I told Steve at the time, I remember, I said, God will never fill this place. Well, that was a joke, because it didn't take long to fill it. And we ended up renting more space over on Elm Street. We actually rented some space. It's behind the fire station. There's a building way in the back there, an old Victorian. We had our glass shop in there for a while where Phil Goldenschwager worked. He was an early guy, came on real early, real talented artist. He did stained glass. He actually painted this sign, which I know that's no great big deal, but still, try doing that if you think you're so smart. And so he did stained glass for us for, God, as long as we were in business. Very good at it. And we eventually moved the shop over into 3 Main Street and had a regular stained glass shop in there, which was pretty impressive. I mean, I'd go to Brimfield or something and buy 10 or 12 windows that might have a crack or might need to have the frame stripped or something, but back then you could buy really nice decorative windows like this for $85 or something, and you could bring them back up here and sell them for a couple hundred or whatever. Actually, prices of stained glass were better then than they are now. People don't appreciate the work, I guess, but they did then. So we had a stripping service in there because we sold a lot of doors and a lot of architectural stuff that needed to be stripped, so we had our own strip tank, and I kind of ran that for years. And that gave us once you have a stripping facility, then you have an edge up on all your competitors because everybody else doesn't have it. So that's why when I started here, I did the same thing. I had a stripping service here. So we were there from 79 to, I want to say, probably 90 or something like that. Linda gave me a thing here.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. You started building the shop back there when I was still in high school.
1980.
No, 89?
Date of incorporation. No, oh yeah, and then the last, yeah. No, that's Great American. Oh, wait a minute. Got another one here. 1991.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. So,
Yeah.
till about 1991.
Yeah. That's when we started incorporated here.
Yeah,
Not incorporated, but I registered the business in 1991.
I remember coming up with the name in the car.
Yeah.
All three of us were driving towards Barrie, and we were near the movie theater in Barrie. And I remember you came up with Tillotson Trading in the car.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Probably Linda didn't like it, right?
Yeah, no, I think we were all
Just
okay with it.
clicked.
I did have another idea, but it didn't win.
It just rolls off the tongue, kind of.
Yeah.
It
Because I think, and I was like, well, people are going to want to trade with us. I remember that.
never really worked out that way.
No.
Sometimes, it worked. I don't care. So anyway, we were over there for 10 years over in Montpelier, probably. That's I remember Steve and I had a talk one time. He said, look, I got to build this company real fast because right now we're at the cusp of this architectural salvage wave. And he says, we've got to hit it big, got to get in and get out. We're going to be in 10 or 12 years and it's going to be all over. We won't be able to buy stuff. What the hell is he talking about? But he knew.
Yeah.
And then it happened like that.
Yeah.
Now you can't find this stuff hardly anywhere. So that's why I've gone off into different things, furniture and just stuff that I can still buy. But anyway, that's kind of the story of how we got started over there. It was all Steve Israel. He came up with the idea and he first pressed forward with it and got me involved, got Brian Thompson involved, his neighbor. And there was other people, Ron Lovely. It was a great crew, Linda, of course.
And
Gosh, at one time we had 3 people working in the office.
Well, not only that, but you had a place, there was a New York City showroom.
Oh yeah, well that's right. We actually opened up down in New York in,
Cooper.
the heck was it?
34 Cooper
Cooper Square,
Square.
yeah.
New York City.
We had a big place down there, 2 floors, a lot of money. Oh my God, that kind of killed us actually. It's huge rents down there, and then everybody had to get paid because they were living in the city.
But didn't Daryl Hannah come in?
Oh, yeah.
Daryl Hannah and one of the Jacksons.
Yeah.
So that was worth it for me.
Yeah, I met her. Yeah, there was some other people. Oh, I didn't meet her there, but
Oh, Mrs. Cunningham from.
Mrs. Cunningham, she came into Montpelier.
Yeah.
Richie's, not Richie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his mom on
Yeah.
Happy Days.
Yeah. And then there was, who was it, the woman that played with Humphrey Bogart?
Lauren Bacall?
Lauren Bacall. I met her
No
in
way.
a shop down in New York. It wasn't in our shop, but I was up at another guy's shop, and she was in there. He introduced me to her. That was kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we had quite the time for 10 or 12 years. We've just built that just as hard as we could, and then I don't know, finally, there was other people that got involved money-wise, and we went to New York and we tried to expand, and it was just too much. And it finally, around 1990, 91, somewhere in there, pulled the plug on it because it just couldn't maintain itself. It got too big. So anyway, maybe next time I'll go into this when we started here and everything we went through. I kind of touched on it once, but like I said, not everybody knows, so I'll tune it up. Thanks.